A quiet Sunday in Russia's capital after Yevgeny Prigozhin, the leader of the Wagner mercenary group, and his troops ended a rebellion that had them moving toward Moscow. It's unclear what impact, if any, the armed challenge that ended with a deal reportedly mediated by Belarus will have on Russian President Vladimir Putin's rule. Prigozhin had become increasingly critical of Russian military leaders' handling of the war in Ukraine. Washington is watching closely, said Secretary of State Antony Blinken on ABC.
The notion that this war, this aggression by Russia, was being pursued under false pretenses. The notion that Ukraine or NATO somehow presented a threat to Russia that it had to deal with militarily. That's now much more out in the open than it's been. What that leads to, again, we just don't know at this point.
Supporting the Ukrainian forces will remain the focus of the United States, Blinken added.
To the extent that the Russians are distracted and divided, it may make their prosecution of the aggression against Ukraine more difficult. On the other hand, of course, when you have instability of any kind in a major country like Russia, a major power, that is cause for concern.
After agreeing to not prosecute the Wagner rebels, Putin might have been able to limit the damage to his own reputation, says defense studies expert Marine Moran.
It didn't come to big bloodshed, so Putin knew exactly which buttons to push, and he managed to sort the situation behind the scenes.
If, as part of the deal, the Wagner chief is indeed in Belarus now, he could still play a role in the war against Ukraine. Retired General Richard Dannett, former chief of the General Staff of the British Armed Forces, told Sky News.
If he has gone to Belarus and has kept an effective fighting force around him, then he presents a threat again to the Ukrainian flank closest to Kyiv.
In that context, Dannett advises the Ukrainian forces to remain vigilant. Veronica, Balderas, Iglesias, VOA News, Washington.